Okay, today I'm going to do something completely different. Obviously it's a car channel, however I wanted to show you some behind of the scenes, basically what kind of equipment I'm using. And as you can see I have quite a lot of the stuff, but not only for car sporting, I am into photography as well, so I'm just going to show you everything I have. So how are we going to do that? I'm going to show you the equipment I'm using, what's the positive and negative, and do you actually need it for car videography, do you need it for car sporting, and what do I recommend versus what should you not get. So let me start with showing you what I have, and then we're going to go into details one by one. Okay, so basically everything started with that little thing over there a few years back, which is a point and shoot camera. Positive and negative about it, obviously it's very small, it's very pocketable, but it doesn't have HD or even full HD or even HD. So I'm not using that one today at all anymore, because obviously everything is HD or full HD today on YouTube, and I have even seen already YouTube started with 4K videos. So the first recommendation I already have for you is do not buy any camera gear that cannot record in full HD, because YouTube is evolving, the cameras are evolving, and people demand the best quality possible. So if you want to go into car sporting, or if you're planning into upgrading your gear, do not get a camera without full HD functionality. So that said, let me just switch over to the left side so you can see some more of my stuff. So as you can see, I do have GoPros. I have 3 of them. I started with one and I realized that it is a pain in the ass, so to say, to record with one only, because it limits you. If you want to record something and you want to cut it basically together afterwards in iMovie or Sony Vegas or whatever software you're using, it's kind of difficult to get exactly the same shot done, because if you do especially acceleration videos, like I've done for example with the Lamborghini Aventador or the Audi R8 recently, it is difficult to record the same thing twice and to make it appear that it looks exactly the same, because it doesn't. You have different cars driving in the picture, you have different background, you have different noise. So if you record with 2 or 3 cameras at the same time, it's so much easier to cut and edit afterwards. Then obviously if you do car videography, you will need one of the suction cups, which is over there. You see it here. That is as well separately sold, so don't just think that you buy a GoPro Hero, the basic white version, which is fine, you know, records obviously full HD with good frames per second as well, which is sufficient. But you will need, as I say, at least one battery backpack and maybe even a second one just in case, to not be pressured by time, or not basically be limited by the battery life of the GoPro Hero. In addition, you need the suction cup just to start actually putting it on the car and start recording some action footage. That being said, the GoPro Hero 3, this is the black edition I have. The pros are obviously that it's very small. I mean, if you look at it, it's super tiny. But the problem, as you can see, this is the battery in the back is maybe 1/3 of the whole construction, and the battery is shit. The quality of the picture is amazing during day. In the night it becomes very grainy. You cannot zoom, you cannot change the focus. It's a fixed focus lens and you can basically use it only during daylight. So keep this in mind. If you start shooting maybe in sunset or during sunset, the pictures will become really bad if it gets dark. Another thing, as I said, the battery. It lasts with Wi-Fi maybe half an hour, maybe 35 minutes. So what you should get for sure if you get the GoPro is one of those battery backpacks. How it works, you basically just connect it to the back of it. There we go. And it basically doubles the camera life. Yeah, so keep that in mind. If you want to buy a GoPro, you need to get the second battery or the battery backpack. Okay. So with the GoPro Hero 3, with the black edition, you get the remote. It's really handy if you don't have a mobile device like an iPhone over there or an iPad or an Android phone, because this one allows you to remotely control the GoPro. And not only one, but you can record. I can use it for all 3 at the same time, so I can start and stop shooting at the same time with the remote. which you cannot do on the app. So that's why I have basically shown you as well the iPad here and the iPhone, because you can use them to start recording and setting up the camera, the GoPros. I use it with the Wi-Fi, it works really good, but obviously the Wi-Fi drains the battery of the GoPro, and as well it drains the battery of the iPad or the iPhone. Moving on, we have GoPro Gorillapod, which is that thing over there with the Joby hat. That basically allows you to use the camera in a fixed position rather than basically holding it. I mean, for car spotting it's fine, but the problem is you have the camera and it's moving up and down the whole time. It's okay for car spotting, but if you start recording really featured videos, like one of the ones that I mentioned, just the Lamborghini for example, you don't want a shaky picture if you do something like this, because you meet with the owner and you want to deliver basically something really good to them, and for yourself basically, and for the people that watch your videos. So get at least some kind of tripod. Do not go for the cheapest shit you can find, or the things that you usually get with the cameras together, because these are the things that the shops cannot sell, and they give you the cheapest crap you can find, and it's going to be shaky, it's going to be moving, and it's not going to hold the weight. So get a really sturdy one. This one is a bigger one that can hold up to DSLR weight, I think around 3 kg. And that one is good, and that allows you flexibility to put it on a pole or to put it on a fence, or very low to the ground, which you won't be able to do with a tripod either, as it has limitations on how low you can go. It depends on the model. Okay, continuing with the camera hardware. So on the left side you'll see my Canon G1X, which I got last year. It is a really good camera. It's a fixed lens, so you cannot change the lenses. Has a 4x optical zoom. It records in full HD with 1080p. It has stereo sound recording and a lot of how we call this, manual control functions, which is basically a mini DSLR in a smaller package. Limitations of this one, in case you were thinking about getting it: the autofocus is kind of slow, the zooming in video is slow. However, the pro about it is as well that you can zoom and it's very smooth, so it zooms smooth. You don't have this jerky kind of thing when you do it with one of the manual lenses, like on the EOS M or 650D, or any DSLR for that matter. So that one is a very good thing. Obviously it's very lightweight compared to all the other ones or DSLR. Battery life is not bad, but it has its limitations. So you cannot go very close to the car. So if you want to, for example, shoot the logo or the writing, the Lamborghini, for example, on the back of the car, you cannot get very close with it. So then we continue going to the right. This is my EOS M. I just got it like 2 weeks ago. The reason why I got that one is I'm actually gonna sell the G1X because I'm not using it a lot anymore. However, I wanted something small because, I mean, you see the problem with the EOS 650D. This thing is large, it's huge, especially if you put the microphone on, and with the 18-135 STM lens. It is a huge thing. I mean, if you're gonna go in a city, you're gonna go car sporting for 5, 6, 7 hours. If you do that, that thing gets heavy after some time. So I wanted something small, and I didn't want to have a quality reduction, or basically a drop in the quality of my videos or in the pictures. So that EOS M has exactly the same sensor as the EOS 650D, so you have really good pictures, you have really good video in full HD as well. It has a hot shoe where the little flash is on top now. I can change the lenses, and with that thing, it's an adapter, I can use all my lenses from the DSLRs. So basically you just put it on and you can put basically the big lens on it. Another reason why I got it is as well, in case I'm going for a video shoot and something happens to my main camera, which is the 650D, I can use the body of the EOS M with that thing to put on my lens and continue shooting. The drawback of the EOS M compared to the 650D is the battery is much smaller and it doesn't last very long if you record video. Here comes right away the next tip: never ever just rely on one battery. For all the cameras I have at least 1 or 2 or even 3 spare batteries, which will save you from basically running out of battery exactly when that one particular car is coming that you're looking for. May it be a Ferrari Enzo, a Pagani Huayra, I don't know, Gambala MiG-U1, whatever is coming basically across that you want to shoot, and at that time your camera gonna run out of battery. So always buy a second or a third battery. Okay, continuing then with the DSLR. So which one should you buy? What is the DSLR that you should go for? That is really depend on what you want to do and how much your budget obviously is. I got the 650D because it had the new sensor. It has the function of using the maximum out of the STM lenses, which is the stepping motor, which makes the zooming and the autofocusing very quiet. Not the zooming, sorry, the autofocus. You don't hear it at all if you record. And that is a big advantage. If you record something in a very quiet place and you basically use the autofocusing or the continuous autofocusing, you're gonna hear that in the camera. If you don't have basically the 650D or the new cameras that Canon basically bring out. Okay, the next big thing is the sound. I will show you a clip in between or after that, and that will give you the difference between the sound. All of these cameras have basically inbuilt microphone, even stereo microphone. However, the sound is very limited. So what they do is the camera, if for example, if this is the camera, it will record everything around the camera, including you breathing, you talking, you choosing the settings on the camera. Whatever you do, it's gonna record. What you have over there is the Rode Videomic Pro, which is a microphone that records actually everything just in front of the camera. So you will not record anything that's behind the camera. Basically, you talking, you breathing, you choosing any settings on the camera. So I'll show you the video now, and you're gonna see the difference. It's the same thing recorded once without and once with the Rode Videomic Pro. So just take a look at it now. Okay, I think you have seen the difference, or you've heard the difference. In the second video, you basically saw that, or you heard that the microphone is recording a much longer distance. So even though the car is very far away already, you still can hear it, which is really good or really cool if you basically record something when a car is coming towards you or driving away from you. So that's set. That Videomic Pro is around 170–180 euros. However, I can really recommend it to you, and you should get an external microphone. Maybe not in the beginning, but if you start doing like private shootings with the owners of a car, it doesn't make a huge difference. That said, I made a mistake when I started recording with it, because it has a separate switch on and off. It will not turn automatically on with the camera. So you might have the same problem in the beginning. You're gonna record a nice video, you think you have great sound, but the microphone is off. So always make sure that the microphone is on, the external one. Because if you plug it in, the internal microphone won't work anymore. On the same note, it runs with this kind of 9-volt blocks, which obviously makes it lasting very long. However, always again, like the same thing as with the battery of the camera, do have a spare battery for it, if you're especially going out and you cannot buy anywhere close a battery. So another thing is which lens you're gonna get with the DSLR. One recommendation from my side, if you're looking to buy a DSLR, or maybe you ask your parents to buy one for you to do car spotting or whatever, basically photography or videography, do not go for this 18–55mm standard lens. That thing is, so to say, just shit. For pictures, okay, fine. For video, it's not usable. There is a new version out of it, which is the 18–55 STM2. Apparently it has the same stepping motor as the 18–135 that I have over there. I have not tested this one yet, but if you go for the old one, the series one, do not go for it. Try to save some more money and get right away the 18-135 lens with it. Okay, so then there's only a few things left on the table which I haven't explained. Obviously the blue thing is a microfiber cloth just to clean the lens from fingerprints or dust or anything like that, because you don't want to record and have basically fingerprint right on your lens, and obviously you can't change this in post-production anymore. So always have one or two of these with you, even in your pocket, carrying with you. This is a remote control for triggering when you're doing pictures. So if you're more into photography of cars, especially long exposure in the night, you should have one of these rather than basically pushing the shutter button, because even the shutter button push will shake the camera a bit. So you can use the self-timer for it, but it's kind of annoying because you always have to wait 2 or whatever, how many seconds you set it up to. This one is just going to connect to the camera, and you just push the button and the camera will not shake. Obviously for that you need a tripod as well. So I'm using one just right now. It's a Manfrotto. I can recommend you Manfrotto. It's one of the best tripod manufacturers in the world. It's very, very sturdy. You have different hats, you have different tripods for whatever basically you need it, and obviously what budget you're gonna have. Okay, you see as well a knife. Why the hell you need a knife? Sometimes when you set up the tripod, or you put something in where it's connecting to a tripod, or like the Gorillapod for example on the left side, it gets very, very tight after some time. So if you can't lose the bolts or the mount from the camera, for example, or the hot shoe from the camera, you might not be able to change the battery, because usually when you have this little plate, which is this one for the Manfrotto, it obviously attaches to the bottom of the camera, and usually it's blocking the release of the battery and card slot. So if that thing gets stuck, even though you have this one here, some of these hats don't have it, it's gonna get really, really tough to get it off. So I just gonna have I'm always gonna carry a knife with me for that particular reason, or a tool or something. A Leatherman would be nice. And one last thing, which are the cards. Obviously you need some cards for recording onto. Which cards do you use? I have 2 different sets, which is the Ultra and the Extreme. The Ultra records with, I think it's 30 megabytes per second, the Extreme with 45 megabytes per second. Don't choose the cheapest card you can find. Don't choose the smallest card you can find. Why? If you choose a 2 GB card, you're going to record a video, you're going to run out of space very, very quickly. It depends on the camera you're using, it depends on the quality you're using. If you record in full HD, that thing will fill up really, really quick. And if you record on a card that is very, very slow, not one of this Ultra Extreme, the camera will not be able to write fast enough on the card, and it might not even work. So always get the fastest you can get, or at least the 30 megabyte per second, and get at least a 16 GB or 32 GB. So it always depends on the camera as well. I have 232, I have few 16s, I have 164 GB. Again, like with the batteries, the same thing. Do always carry 1 or 2 spare cards with you, because if you fill up one card, you're somewhere out in the desert, like I have done just recently, or somewhere out, you don't have a card, you run out of space, what are you going to do? You will have to delete something of the footage. You don't want to do that. So always have spare cards, spare batteries, everything basically double if possible. Okay, and last thing, just over there I have my camera bag, which is something that even fits my laptop. In case you're on the go, you're on vacation, you need basically something to put all this equipment. Obviously all this will not fit in this bag, but get a good bag that has good zippers, and if possible even weather sealed, which means it can last in a rain shower, or at least some kind of rain, because you don't want to get your gear basically destroyed or broken because of rain or dust. So well, maybe one last tip or one last request to all the car spotters, because I've seen that this became a very, very big thing over the last years, and there's a lot of kids doing this, you know, like 12, 13, 15, whatever age it is. please respect the owners and do not jump in front of cars when they're on the road. It's ridiculous. I mean, try to get good footage, try to get good pictures, but be respectful. Do not stop drivers, do not prevent them from driving away or ask them to do stupid stuff, because it's not respectful. You shouldn't do that, because this basically gets the whole scene down. So try to be respectful, do your shots, do your videos, but do not intervene in traffic. Yeah? It's your life. I mean, it's not worth a picture, it's not worth to get run over by a car or to get injured, for that matter, or even killed. You have to be careful with these things. So I'm sorry I sound like an old guy, but I am older than most of the guys who are doing this. So please respect it, have fun with it, and if you have any questions, please let me know. I hope this video is helpful to all of you guys who want to do car sporting or photography, car photography or car videography. This is just the big selection of what I have basically, but again, you do not need all these things. A good DSLR, do not go for the 1100 Canon EOS 1100 because it is only 720p recording, so HD recording. Do not go for the small 1855 lenses. I'm not just talking about Canon now. Buy a better lens right away, because the lens makes actually a big difference. It's not the camera body. Most people think if you buy the best gear, you're gonna make great video, great footage. It's not the case. You don't need to buy a 5D Mark III for a ridiculous 3,000 euros. You can record with a 650D or 600D or 700D, whatever is coming out now. So you don't need the best, but rather buy a smaller body with a better lens. Look for the audio, have spare batteries, have spare cards that are fast enough, and slowly over time you're gonna see if you want to go that direction, what else you need. You're gonna see what other people are doing, and you're learning out of that. So do not right away jump into buying the most expensive gear. I have not bought all this stuff at the same time. This is over a period of 2.5 years, I would say. And obviously over time you have to upgrade at some point, just to keep up with the quality that YouTube is showing, or Vimeo, or whatever you post your videos on, or the pictures. But you can have a basic setup and record some really good video and pictures without having the most expensive stuff. So I hope you like this video. Maybe I'm going to do a behind the scene video of how I actually do a car video shoot, or how I do car sporting. But for now, that's it. Thank you very much. Let me know what you think, and I'll help you as much as I can. Cheers.